Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm coming to y'all with yet another acoustic guitar review, and this time we're looking at a Washburn. Okay? Specifically, and I had to write this model number down along with all my other information off camera so I don't forget, because it's a long model number and name. So this is part of their revival series, which was basically where they were trying to bring back a lot of their vintage American-made designs. And this was the model RSG200SWVSK Solo Deluxe. Okay, very long walk for a short drink of water. Basically, we're just going to call this the Solo Deluxe. It's easier to just say Washburn Solo Deluxe. And this is specifically a revival of a 1939 model, okay, called the Solo Deluxe. I believe I wrote down the exact model number. 5236 is what the original model was. The Washburn 5236, which has a pretty interesting history. So for those of you who don't know, and this is not going to be a shut up and play video, by the way, so if you're looking for a shut up and play demonstration, click away. This is not going to be for you. I'll of course give a acoustic tone demonstration throughout the video, but remember, it's being recorded through a Samsung smartphone microphone and then uploaded to YouTube, where it's going to undergo a lot of compression. It's not going to be a real representation of what the guitar is going to truly sound like. In reality, the guitar is likely going to sound much, much better in real life than it will on the recording. Okay, very rarely does a recording capture the full sound of an instrument or in any way improve it. Pretty much never improves it. So, anyways, for those of you who don't know, Washburn has been around since the 1800s, making instruments. And they made a lot of their own instruments, and they also had other companies make instruments for them, and other, makers make instruments for them, small luthiers and whatnot. And the model we're looking at here, again, the original version, the 5236, was one such instrument. Okay, so from about 1936 through 1938, the guitar was made by Tonk Bros, and it was an all-natural design, all-natural finish. And then in 1939, the version this is a reissue of, the guitar was made by Gibson for Washburn. So yes, this is a reissue of a guitar Gibson made for Washburn. And there's a lot of similarities between this and the 1939 original, and there's a fair amount of differences. So just kind of a cool bit of history on the guitar. This guitar, whenever it was still in production, this is a discontinued model, was not exactly a cheap guitar. What did I write this? I wrote down the MSRP on this, didn't I? Yeah. MSRP'd for about 900 USD. Okay, and I was seeing listings for like 1150 Canadian. So, 900 US dollars. You might think that's a lot of money for a Chinese-made guitar. Well, maybe so, but I think it's a great bargain for what you get. And the cool thing is, today, you can get this guitar for so much less that it's not even funny. Like, I see these come up for sale anywhere in the neighborhood of $450 to $650. And at any of those price points, hell, at $1,000, I still recommend this Washburn. Genuinely. Not bullshitting you guys. Sorry for cussing, but I'm not messing with you guys. Just genuinely a great bargain for the money. Okay? And the reason why? Let's go through the specs. This is what they call a super auditorium body shape. What does that mean? It means it's a grand auditorium. Okay? A lot of Taylor fans think Taylor invented the body shape. They didn't. It's been around for a long, long time. Super auditorium, grand auditorium, medium or mini jumbo. It's all the same thing, guys. You have a tighter waist, kind of like a grand concert, and then a large lower bout, similar to a dreadnought or a jumbo, but smaller than a jumbo in overall shape. And it gives you a guitar that produces the volume of a dreadnought and a lot of the tonal qualities and clarity of a grand concert all in one. Okay, Martin makes a guitar like this called the M36. They call this body shape their quadruplo. It's all the same thing. It's the same exact body shape across the board. And it could easily be considered the most versatile body shape there is. Just because it can do everything a big guitar can do, and it can do everything a small guitar can do. So lovely body shape. The top on this is solid Torrefied Sitka spruce. That's right, this is a Torrefied top. The bracing in here, the pre-war style X bracing, so it is braced like a pre-war guitar, is also Torrefied. So the bracing's Torrefied, the top is Torrefied. The back and sides are, get this, one of two woods. So if you got one from 2017, which this one actually, the serial number dates this to 2016, which is weird because the guitar didn't come out till 2017. I did send Washburn a picture of my serial number. They did confirm this would have been made in 2016, so this might have been an early production version or a not for sale prototype or something. But the 2017 version of this had solid Indian rosewood back and sides, which is what you're seeing here. Okay, 2018 and later, they were made with solid Palfaro back and sides, which has a lot of very similar tonal qualities to Indian rosewood. So either way, this is an all-solid guitar, either Torrefied spruce with Indian rosewood or Torrefied spruce with Palfaro. Either way, all solid wood construction. Okay, so for 900 bucks, hell yeah. Used for less than that is a steal. Okay, to put it into perspective, if you wanted to get this same kind of body shape from a company like Taylor, and you didn't want to spend too much money, you could get their 214, their 214 or their 214 Deluxe, and both of those are going to cost you over $1,000, about $1,200 to $1,650, depending if you want the regular or the deluxe versions. And that's just going to have a non-Torrefied solid Stika spruce top and a laminated rosewood back and sides with no bracing on the back, with no bracing whatsoever on the back or side. Okay, this has full bracing, just like a pre-war guitar, just like a typical guitar. It has bracing on the back, and it's a solid rosewood for significantly less. Okay, a buddy of mine plays a 214 Deluxe Taylor as his gigging guitar. I've played it a lot. This sounds better. That may piss off some of the Taylor fans, but to my ear, and even to his ear, this sounds better. Okay. Now I have another buddy who also plays a 214 Deluxe by the name of Dan, and I think this sounds better than his guitar as well. He hasn't played this one yet. I kind of want him to. I want to see if I can borrow, one of those two friends' 214s to do a side-by-side comparison with. But think about that: $900 for a guitar that sounds, in my opinion, better than a $1,200 to $1,600 guitar. That's insane. Anyways, getting back to the specs so I don't get off track, we have a mahogany neck, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. 25.4-inch scale length mahogany neck. It's a very flat C shape, by the way. We have, on the 2017 versions, rosewood fingerboard bridge and bridge pins. And on the 2018 and later versions, ebony fingerboard bridge and bridge pins. Okay. Bone nut and saddle, and the nut is 1 3/4, so it's not an 1 11/16. It is a full 1 3/4 nut. And the tuning machines, I'm not sure if the lighting is going to show this very well. Maybe you can see that, maybe not. These are Graphtec ratio tuning machines, okay, which cost a pretty penny in and of themselves. It holds tune incredibly. You can fine tune wonderfully because each of the gears is a different ratio that's best suited to, the gauge of string that you're going to be putting on it. Just wonderful construction all the way around, wonderful parts, wonderful materials. I mean, bone nut and saddle, Graphtec ratio tuners, Torrefied solid top, Torrefied bracing, solid rosewood or Palfaro back and sides. It's hard to beat. We have this beautiful crane binding all the way around the body, a none on the neck, very simple mother of pearl dot inlay on the fingerboard, and we do have dot inlay or dots along the side of the fingerboard. I'm in awe by this guitar. I currently have this strung up with D'Addario XS 1152 phosphor bronze coated strings, which is what I put on everything. And it just sounds so beautiful to my ear. Like, this is arguably my best sounding acoustic guitar. I did a review on the amazing Epiphone inspired by Gibson Hummingbird, and that's a wonderful instrument for the money. But genuinely, speaking purely acoustically, because this doesn't have a pickup, if I had to pick between this and the Hummingbird, I actually like this a bit more. I know, I gave that such a glowing review, and everything I said about it stands true, but something about this just sounds rich and articulate and beautiful to my ear, and it really is amazing to me that this is a relatively budget guitar. That you can have this used for $500 is insane. I got mine in trade. Okay, I traded that AMI JM AGE that I reviewed, which used is about $350, and a Harley Benton, what was that thing? 600, whatever. The triple pickup SG, electric guitar copy, which is worth about $180. Traded those two for this, and it came with its original hardshell case, which I'll get to in just a little bit. The pickguard design, you can see they're kind of different. Nice little tortoiseshell thing. Different bridge design than typical, and a vintage style Washburn headstock with mother of pearl inlay on it. Absolutely beautiful. So I mentioned this thing came with a case, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this guitar down for just a second. I actually did break the case out, and I even managed to remember to write down what model case this is from Washburn. So this is model GCM JDLX case, okay, which is the mini jumbo deluxe case. Burgundy, kind of leather material exterior. We open this up, and it's going to be hard to show this on camera because I don't really have my setup situated for showing off the case, but I'm going to try. Nice plush interior, very nice case, honestly. This case sells for about $180 brand new by itself. So if you can get the guitar with this case, which it did come with, it did originally come with this hardshell case, that's just speaks even more to the incredible value. And typically when I see these things come up for sale, the seller is listing them with that original hardshell case, which is a deal that you just can't beat, in my opinion. So looking at my specs to make sure I didn't forget anything, going through here, I mentioned the neck is very flat. I'll talk about that in just 1 second. Okay, so I wrote this down here, some information. What are the differences between this and the 1939 original? Well, that actually comes down largely to materials. So the 1939 version that was built by Gibson would have had a red spruce top instead of Stika spruce, and the back and sides were Brazilian rosewood as opposed to Indian rosewood. Now obviously Brazilian rosewood you can't get anymore. I'm pretty sure that the importation of Brazilian rosewood is extremely illegal, as the wood has been marked as endangered, unless something's changed in the last few years. But when they were building this guitar, it was certainly illegal, and so everyone stopped using it. Unless you happen to have some laying around, if you had like a Brazilian rosewood table that you cut down and made a guitar out of, you couldn't really use it. So they obviously had to change the rosewood design choice there. Why they went with a Stika spruce versus a red spruce is really simple. Guitar manufacturers want consistency, okay? And there are certain plantations that guitar manufacturers all buy from, and those plantations are growing very specific woods. That's why you see so much Stika spruce, Engelmann spruce, Indian rosewood, specific types of mahogany, sapele, so on and so forth. You see all of those woods being used consistently in guitar manufacturing because that's what the plantations they buy from grow. It's what they sell. And so if Washburn did want to try to make this as accurate as possible and made them with red spruce tops, they would run the risk of running out of the material and having to change materials midway through, which they already had to with their back and sides. So pretty much the reason why. It's a matter of consistency. Would it sound better with a red spruce top versus a Stika spruce top? It would sound different. I mean, it's just personal preference. I'm one that believes there's not really a strictly better or worse tone wood. Different tone woods have different qualities that work better in different applications versus each other, and may sound better depending on the individual's ear. It's not really one's better than the other, just that they're different. So I'm not really much of a guitar player. I love to have fun and noodle around. No, I am a gigging musician, but you don't really have to be anywhere like a top of the line player to be a gigging musician, if I'm being honest with you. But I will try to give you some demonstrations of the tone on this thing. I'm going to scoot closer to the camera so that I can provide as accurate a sound as possible. Beautiful sound of this. Give you all a closer look at some of the details here. You can at least see the different gear ratios now. Some more tone demonstrations. Let's try some flat picking. Just great sounding guitar. The neck, like I mentioned, is a very flat C, which is one of the differences between this and the 39 original. The 39 original had a hard V neck. Forgot to mention that when going over the differences. Now some finger picking. Aside from my sloppy playing ability. I think the guitar sounds absolutely beautiful, and I hope it's coming across here decently. Just a wonderful sounding guitar. not very used to the 1 3/4 inch nut. I'm going to go ahead and scoot back. I'm definitely not used to the 1 3/4 nut because I'm very practiced with 1 11/16. So my playability on the guitar isn't as good as it would be on something else. Forgive any mistakes that I made there, but I think the sound of this cannot be denied. I mean, it is resonant. One of the very important things when you're looking at a guitar is to make sure your sound is coming from your top primarily and not from your strings, okay? And what I mean by that is the top is called a soundboard for a reason. This is where most of your sound is getting generated from on a well-built guitar. Basically, you strum the strings, and the top vibrates, and that vibration is what gives the guitar its tonal signature. The back and sides serve to capture that sound and push it out of the sound hole. And the bracing plays a big part of the sound as well, which is why if you see a video of someone who re-braces an old ladder brace guitar with X bracing, the tone changes drastically. So, you know, you're looking at the top and the bracing, which makes the majority of your sound, and the back and sides, the density of it, and what qualities they impart on the tone as they push the sound out, is what generates the sound of your guitar. A really cheap guitar, or poorly built guitar with a top that's way too thick, isn't going to vibrate well, okay? And it can be because the top is too thick, the braces are too thick, the glue that they're using to hold it all together is either too thick or too rigid, and it doesn't allow anything to vibrate, and then all your sound comes from your strings. The easy way to make sure you know it's coming from your top would be to hit a note, and then, you know, put a small amount of pressure against the top. If it dulls your sound and mutes your sound, you know your top is vibrating and resonating properly, and is what's giving you the most of your tone. I have no idea how well that's coming across on camera, but in person it's muting my sound a lot. And so I know the majority of my sound is coming from the top of the guitar itself, and not just from the strings that I have on the guitar. Okay, too much string noise will sound jangly and harsh and bright, and it's why a lot of cheap guitars sound like junk. Your sound is coming from your strings, not from the guitar itself. Is there anything about the guitar that I don't like? It doesn't have built-in electronics. That's about the only thing about it that I don't like, and that's just because I'm a gigging musician, like I said before. But guess what? I'll put some in here. I've got no problem drilling that end pin out, you know, taking that old end pin out and drilling out this tail block and sticking an output jack in there and putting some transducers in here, like a K&K Pure Mini or a Journey Tech, what is it, ESK 100. I'll use one of those pickup systems in here because this guitar sounds amazing and it deserves to be played on stage. Just an incredible sounding guitar, especially for the money. Again, $900 new, $500 used. I would challenge anyone to find a better sounding guitar for $500. I already mentioned this sounds better to my ear than the Taylor Grand Auditoriums that are, you know, double that, triple that. It sounds better to me than any of the Mexican-made Martins. Now, I played the DRS-1, the DRS-2, you know, now known as the D10. I played those guitars. They sound great. This sounds better to my ear. It really does. And that's why I picked it up. That's why I ended up having to have it. And I got it for a great deal. I would challenge anyone to find a better playing, better sounding, better quality guitar for the money. This thing just impresses the hell out of me, and I am so happy that I picked it up. And I would love to pick up the version with Pal Ferro back inside. I would love to compare them. You know, if I ever get a chance to, I would love to do so, because, hell, it might sound better for all I know. Maybe it sounds worse, maybe it sounds better. Either way, it would be nice to know. I would review that separately. man, what an instrument. So, you know, hopefully you all enjoyed the video. Make sure I didn't leave anything else. Oh, I did leave something out. If you want a Martin M36 and can't afford one, this is one hell of a poor man's option. Because you have what is, again, basically the same body shape. You actually have better tuners on here than the Martin comes with, because these Graphtec tuners are better than what the Martins come equipped with. Pretty much better than anything that isn't a Schaller tuner, in my opinion. I like these better than Grovers, Godos, Klusons, all of it. Although Schallers I still like better. But, I mean, you have solid Stika spruce top, and it's torrefied and aged, same with the bracing. You've got, you know, solid rosewood back and sides. You've got a lot of the same components and materials. Is the Martin M36 a better sounding guitar? Yeah, it is. I'm not going to lie to you. The Martin M36 is a better sounding guitar. But man, what a great poor man's option this is. And if you got it, you wouldn't be unsatisfied with it by comparison. I really don't think you would. Because this is a beautiful guitar. Okay, I'm already at 27 minutes here. I've been ranting a lot. This is already a really long review video. So I'm going to go ahead and end the video here, but I hope you enjoyed the video, and I want to do a full video on like the guitar's case. I'm thinking about doing guitar case reviews because there's a lot of guitar cases out there, and there's never really any video attention. So, if y'all would be interested in seeing me review guitar cases as well, comment down below. I'd be happy to do so. But yeah, honestly, an incredible guitar for an incredible price. It comes with an incredible case. I mean, it's hard to beat. Love this thing. Absolutely going to put some electronics in here. Absolutely hanging on to this one. It is a fantastic instrument. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And until next time, peace, and I will see you later.